An additional devastating consequence of the ULEZ rollout scheme that not everybody seems to be aware of, although it seems to have been considered and concerns dismissed, is that some workers are going to be paying the ULEZ charge twice if they are night workers working across midnight, thus will be working on 2 separate days, travelling on 2 separate days, and therefore paying 2 separate charges. So they'll be paying £12.50 for each day, and so £25 to commute to work. The response from the spokesperson for the Mayor of London said that this was discussed, night workers were considered, and that they believe that 9 out of 10 cars seen driving in outer London on an average day for those night workers meet the ULEZ standards, and thus those drivers will not be paying the charge anyway. And then to help those affected, the mitigations include night bus and tube services and so on. But this just goes to show how important getting the day right, because for that, I've got a little story to tell you. But first of all, welcome back if you're new to me. My name is Daniel Shensmith. I'm a barrister of England and Wales, and I love to help you to understand law. So please do hit that subscribe button at any point you find this video useful. Now, this goes back to a story where the prosecution was brought out of time. And what I mean by that is, for less serious offences, the prosecution have 6 months within which to bring a prosecution. Otherwise, it's out of time. For indictable, more serious offences, there is no time limit, at least in England and Wales, and at least for now. But if a prosecution for a less serious offence that has a time limit of 6 months to bring is brought out of time, even by 1 day, then that prosecution cannot go ahead. It must be struck out. Now, in this particular case, there was a discussion as to which side of midnight the ambulance arrived and therefore which side of midnight the offence occurred. And it transpired that because the time of the offence and therefore the date of the offence was taken to be after midnight, no one had really taken into account what time or how long it actually took for the ambulance to get there, and therefore what time the offence occurred. So the date of the offence was taken as the following day, meaning there was 1 extra day on this time limit. Now you know where we're going. But it transpired during the course of legal argument that, in fact, it was agreed that it took the ambulance about 20 minutes or so to arrive on the scene, and thus the offence actually occurred 20 minutes beforehand, and thus before midnight, thus the previous day. Meaning the prosecution had been brought out of time because it was actually brought on the final day of the 6 months that was permitted. So this just goes to show that even something as silly as getting the day right, or wrong in this case, could have a significant impact on everything else. That was obviously no fault of the lawyers initially. It came out of legal argument in court that no one had really thought about how long the ambulance took. It was just taken and agreed that the date of the prosecution was the following day, and thus it was agreed that it was the following day. Only in legal argument, by way of clever defence counsel, realised that, in fact, if it were agreed that it was 20 minutes earlier, then it was, in fact, the day before. So coming back to this ULEZ, so this is yet something else that's going to have to be dealt with, because that can't possibly be fair. Because if a worker is going to a work shift that spans across midnight, surely it's not fair that they pay twice and pay £25 to commute to work when it's already an additional cost as it is. And so I don't really know what they're planning to do about this, but there are obviously further plans being talked about and time limits right up to 2040 and 2050, as in the year 2040 and 2050, for different plans to be expanded around London. But as to this particular consequence, there is no direct answer as yet, even at least in those that I'm reading at the moment. So leave me your thoughts in comments, because the more that this is talked about and the more awareness that people have about this, the better. And so if you found that video interesting, please do remember to hit that like button and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.